Okay, hello everybody. Um, let's see here. We have attendees flowing in. Let's
And two
see.
Russ Perrys.
And two
Perfect.
Russ Perrys. Yeah,
We couldn't get enough Russ Perry. We needed to
yeah,
upgrade a Guy Leaf to be a Russ Perry.
I
yeah.
don't know if it's an upgrade. It's probably a downgrade, guy.
Oh, interesting. I have another link. I will be right back.
All right.
I so we oh, hello Reka, how's it going? I'm seeing some very familiar names, and looks like we have Guy as
We have
himself.
downgraded your Russ to a guy. I'm sorry.
Oh,
It's
man.
up. It's an upgrade. I'm telling you, it's an upgrade. You don't want this life, guy. This is a tough one. So,
I feel you.
So we'll get started in a second here. I'm going to let a little bit more time pass as people join the webinar. We had kind of classic Zoom shenanigans to get started with multiple Russes, and but now we are all who we say we are, and I think we're pretty happy about that. Um, so let's see here. Oh, and we have two Javier Lopez. Hey, Javi, how's it going? It's been a while. We're going to talk after this webinar. And I think let's get started. Uh, okay, I will share my screen and we can kick off. Here we go. Oh, that's not what I'm going to do. Here we go. All right. So welcome to how marketers actually use AI. And we'll kind of get into the content. But first, I wanted to take a second to introduce everybody. Russ, do you want to say hi and tell us a little about yourself?
yeah, my name is Russ Perry, coming to you from Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm the CEO of Design Pickle, and we started over 10 years ago as a subscription creative service. So you pay one flat rate, get designers, work with them. It's been a journey and super excited for today because we've been writing this journey with how people create and how it's changed. And today we're a creative operations hub. So we're basically sit at the center of your creative workflows, providing software, providing services, providing workflows, whatever you need to make that easier. So really stoked to talk about this. I get a million questions a day on creativity and AI. So hopefully we can answer a few of them with people attending.
Yeah, perfect. Glad to have you here. And Guy, you want to say hi?
Sure thing. Hi, everybody. My name's Guy Leaf. I'm a former CMO and the former co-founder and CEO of Intellimize, which was an AI personalization company that Webflow acquired a year ago. And now I'm Webflow's chief evangelist. Webflow is a platform that makes it easy for marketers, designers, developers to work together to design, manage, optimize visually stunning enterprise-grade websites that build your brand and deliver measurable business results, coding entirely optional. And like Russ, this has been a long journey. I've been a marketing leader putting AI in the hands of marketers for more than 20 years, while at Twitter, Yahoo, Brightroll, TradeWeave, and then Intellimas. And I'm super fired up for today.
Yeah, also glad to have you here. So hi everybody, I'm Doyle Irvin. I'm the head of marketing at Elvex. I've also been in the AI space for a while. I got my start in oh God, 9 years ago. Um, when I was bringing natural language processing services to the automotive world. People weren't really sure why they needed text AI to fix cars, but it did work. And now, 9 years later, I'm, after the ChatGPT explosion and all that, I'm working for Elvex, which is helping make generative AI and all of that more accessible for the enterprise. And I'm pretty excited because we've got some good content. Uh, Before we get to the agenda, though, I wanted to relate with all of you, which is just that, like, this whole industry is complete chaos. I think that this slide could probably have like applied, for the last like 15 years, AI has felt a little chaotic. But you can see that there's just like so many numbers and so many stats, and Forrester says this, and Bain is saying that, and like what is real, and getting a grip on all of that is just, mission and frustration, exercise and frustration. And this is on top of just the fact that like the MarTech space has absolutely exploded. If you follow Scott Brinker, he's fantastic. He's been tracking how many marketing, technologies there are out there in the world. And there's 14,000. When he started in 2010, there's like 150. And so just exponential growth in terms of like tools, tech stack, all that stuff. And all of them today say, hey, we've got AI. So what is real? Um, there's
And
all
no one
these
in there
new.
is exaggerating in any way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, the exaggerations are hard. That's part of the chaos. And now you have a lot of new kind of AI native type marketing tech stuff coming out. And the question then is like, do I need a specialized tool or should I just have ChatGPT and Google Docs and like what I'm already using in like HubSpot?
I love that
Um,
ChatGPT is an existing tool now. That's cool.
I know, right? It's what is it? Jump the shark. It's gone mainstream. It's, it's part of the boring old tech. And so this is one of the questions. These are the things that we're here to talk about, how you should think about AI today, some valuable use cases, some quick examples from each of our companies here. We've got a few take-home resources and communities that we're suggesting that you should join that we think have a lot of good things in there. But before we like really hop into the content, I do want to say, if you have any questions, please shout them out in the chat. Feel free to say hi. I'm Doyle from San Francisco. You are, I don't know, we got Carl. He's also from San Francisco, so not a lot of diversity there, but I think Javi is in Miami. Is that right? Anyways, say hi, maybe a little about yourself, join the chat, or shoot questions at us at any point in time. Yeah, a lot of us from San Francisco. So three maxims to remember here, and I'm just going to go really high level, and then we'll go deeper in the next bit. But the first thing is, if it's saying that it's possible or you can do it, does not mean that your team can do it. The third is that human in the loop is a good thing. And the fourth is that the kind of classic T-shaped marketer, T-shaped career path is over. It's time to get scrappy. But let's talk about this first one. Guy, can you elucidate?
Happy to take a crack. I think we are all seeing some really impressive wow-inducing 70% demos. And, you said it's chaos. I think the chaos is more than it has been because the capabilities are changing monthly. I mean, it's like you try something, you don't like it, go back in a couple of months. It's likely to be better. And that's never happened before in any of our careers. I think many of us are now seeing that like there's a really big distance between that wow inducing demo and being 100% production ready. And one of those big pieces is on this slide. It's activation on the team. Like let's pick the example you have on this slide, image generation. To use that effectively on the team, you have to keep up with all these changes. You got to know the existing tools. If you then pick one, you got to gain permission from IT. You have to ensure it's not training on your data. You have to gain access and pay for it. Then you get to see if you like the results. And if you don't, you may go try another one, or more realistically, like is written on this screen, you likely realize, hey, some of these are good at one thing, some are good at other things. And I think that one of the takeaways for us as leaders is I think we should treat AI literacy as a thing. I
Mhm.
don't think it's been a thing to date. It's happened slowly enough that everybody's learned it. In my humble opinion, we actually do need to teach everyone the fundamentals. Like it should be in school, it should be in our professional lives because it's changing so quickly. We should do like formal rollout of that to everybody, and then someone should be keeping up because that is hard to do. And they should share the latest and greatest across the team with visual examples to make it real, not like theoretical explanations. And perhaps most importantly, when you're using it, demand for it to be in context. Be in your workflow, have context about who you are, know who you are to net save you time. And the you is a human, and maybe I'll turn it over to Russ to talk about having a human in the loop.
Yeah, absolutely. So Russ, what's your take on, you know, the inputs from humans?
On humans in general. They suck. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a script we've all seen before. Every advance of technology, it's this Cambian or whatever the evolutionary boom. There's all this. It settles. There's winners, and then at that point, the mainline ones settle in, and that becomes kind of the blueprint for companies. And we're in that phase right now. And I think what we are able to do is go through those considerations that Guy mentioned in terms of what is the risk, what is the knowledge curve, what is all that. And our job really is to be a guide. And I think as marketers they're always slightly better than the average person at this stuff. There's some of us that are like crazy experts, and those are the people that we read and go to see at conferences and stuff. But most of us, myself included, we're just like above average. But we're above average than 99% of the people out there. So I think for us, it's about how do we distill what's out there. And then, what's really, I think the main point here on this slide is um, we are the glue that keeps this together. But at the end of the day, what will be seen as with every advance of technology is the value that these tools brings give us shortened times to market, shortened times to value, shortened times to creation. So it's not that we are irrelevant, namely because there will always be desperate silos of how they work, and they work this way, and this data is this way. They, integrate in this way, but there is always going to be then that piece that we are existing in to keep them connected, to keep them working correctly. But overall, it's going to have a huge, and already, as we'll talk about a little bit later, a huge value add to our ability to do work and to our ability for our teams to do work and to do that in a way that's getting things out there faster, cleaner, better. And so, you know, I don't think any of us on this call disagree about that. That, hey, there's if you disagree about the value of AI, you're not watching this webinar. But I sleep really easy at night every time I go to use tools, knowing that I'm a pretty ahead of the curve person, and there's a layer of knowledge that still will exist with how to make these functional, compliant, and commercial grade. So it's absolutely exciting, and it's absolutely like heartwarming to say, like, you know what, it was mobile before, it was social before, it was this before. It's like we've seen this playbook many times. Super excited that this new thing is here, but at the end of the day, we're going to still be at the forefront as a guide, as a mentor, and really delivering value of expertise, regardless of what it is underneath the hood.
Yeah, and I don't blame people for getting a little bit worried about like the human in the loop kind of stuff, especially given that like all over San Francisco, there's these massive billboards that say "Don't hire humans." It's like, no, we are not there. We're still very necessary. So thank you for that. The last kind of maxim here, the kind of understanding of like the classic T-shaped marketer. You have your fundamentals and message, understanding your customer, how to position things, how to make content, maybe how to run ads or whatever. And then you specialize in one kind of area. Maybe your thing is you're deep on paid ads, or maybe your thing is you're deep on, messaging strategy, or you're deep on, graphic design, or all these sorts of things. And then someone else covers all the other kind of tasks that need to get done. That's like the classic T-shaped marketer. And the new kind of space, the new thing that we're seeing here is that like what really matters is less the hard skills. Those are still important. You still got to know, what is good. But really what AI is opening up is that you have to just like really know your customer, and you have to be biased to trying and doing and learning. And you work with AI to kind of expand your skill set. I, for example, have no idea how to code at all. Never have, never really understood it. Never really liked the kind of puzzle thing. Uh, but with, Claude and LVEX, am writing scripts and I'm running them and I'm doing kind of automations. And it's like, totally changed the capabilities of like what is possible with my current knowledge. I am seeing, yeah, Carl, totally agree. Customer understanding is front and center. That's the thing. AI can help you figure out, how to run a demand gen campaign. AI can help you figure out positioning somewhat, but like it's really deeply understanding your customer that comes front and center.
Doyle, can I
Yeah.
jump in?
Yeah, do it.
I couldn't agree with you more that that customer intimacy, it is true north. And I think one way to think about all of this AI is like it's there to Russ's point to help us do the jobs we're doing. Ultimately, you want that customer intimacy to go deliver value to them, be relevant to them. This is all helping us do that rather than like, oh my God, the whole world just changed. Like, what even matters anymore? The things that deliver value, they still matter. That customer intimacy, it still matters. These are tools to help us do that more effectively, or then maybe in some new ways. But I think keeping that in mind will help all of us stay grounded as all of these things are changing in that chaos you were talking about.
Guy, on that really quick, the analogy that I've been looking at is think of how many incredibly powerful, easy to use website builders there are out there. From Wix to Squarespace to all of these things. I mean, building a website has never been easier. Yet there's a proliferation and an incredible boom of companies and agencies that help companies build websites. And so, like, just because the tools become easy doesn't mean the actual things that you do with those tools are obvious. And that's, I always think, is what our expertise will be as marketers is how to best use these based on the things that a binary input output system won't be able to understand, and whether it's the customer journey, innovation, things like that. And so it's very much so a reassuring time when you know that, okay, it might be easier to do it, but that doesn't mean it's going to be more effective.
I am with you. And I think as a parallel axis, then depending on the size of our business, we need to make sure that those things are enterprise grade, aren't trading on our data, are
Yeah.
scalable, have the privacy and security that we need in parallel to those things, and that they aren't just wow inducing day one, but they are actually helping your team be more effective and efficient, like throughout ongoing management, ongoing optimization. Um, because the wow inducing demos are wow inducing, but then you got to live with it forever and you want it to be helpful along the way.
Yeah, and the AI space has a lot of that. We got a good question from Michelle in the chat, which is, if you're going to apply this to a marketing team, each person would have to have access to the customer data and insights, access to the AI, and would everyone use this to solve for skills, or is there still room for specialization? So forgive me, I'm a marketer. I probably, hyped it up a little bit too much, and maybe a few of the blue boxes on the right-hand side should still be, you know, uh, the light tan beige desert color. There's still room for specialization, but the point here is that there's kind of limiting mindsets that I have had and I have seen in marketing teams before where it's like, I just do this one thing. I just do demand gen or I just write content. And I like the point is not the demand gen or the content or the design. The point is whatever the results are. And I think that like kind of switching from, this is my function, this is what I do to like these are the results I'm trying to drive. And maybe I specialize in demand gen, but AI can maybe I see this opportunity to do this up, a piece of thought leadership or something, and AI can help me figure out how to do that. It's a bit of a mindset shift, and you'll be getting people who are a little bit less strictly defined than they used to be. But I want to move on here. I hope that answered your question. This is kind of if you're going to screenshot something, this is what I'd screenshot, maybe tweet about or post on LinkedIn or shout us out and whatnot. This is kind of our take on what's real and what's not in a glance. What's valuable today, what's valuable next year, and what we think maybe in a few years if things come together. I think that, and we won't read every single thing on this slide, but there's a lot of immediate use cases that come in content that aren't, one click, hey, write me a 10-page white paper. There's so much involved in content production beyond just the actual final piece of copy that's there. There's a ton in data analysis. I, for one, don't like writing SQL. I like being able to upload a bunch of stats in a CSV and saying, hey, can you do some math for me? Another one in the operations space that is my personal favorite. I saw a stat that knowledge workers spend about 20% of their time searching for information. I think that in my previous role, I spent about 50% of my time answering people's DMs. And so I created a little knowledge bot that included all of our case studies, all of our messaging, all of our product documentation, a list of all of our customers, how much each of our products cost, and all these sorts of things. And I just had an information bot that, like, if any, marketer wanted to write a new thing on a new product, that feature had information in there. If a salesperson wanted to ask me, like, hey, how do I compete against this competitor? That information was in there as well. And so just the ability to access the information that you need to do the marketing that you're trying to do is a huge use case for AI, because everybody's business has their bespoke information. Um, Before we move on to valuable next year, Guy, Russ, any things that you personally like today?
I I was gonna if I may, look at what Michelle and Shannon both wrote and say that I do think specialization continues to matter. And I think it will matter for the foreseeable future. I've seen in the extreme folks say, I don't need to go to school. I don't need to learn a profession. I don't need to learn how to code because I'll just Gen AI all of it in the moment. And in my humble opinion, we still need to know how to logic, how to reason. We still need to have the customer intimacy. And we need to know if what the AI has generated is good. To the earlier point, and Doyle, to what you're saying right now, a bunch of it is good in a particular area. It may be better soon, but our judgment on what's effective, what's not, is still very, very valuable. I am finding, to directly answer your question, AI note taking in meetings and next step follow-ups super duper useful. I'm finding taking something like this webinar and auto chopping it up into small pieces and auto writing a draft of how you might share that. That saves a bunch of time too. I'm trying to create agents with some other more code heavy tools, and sometimes that's working amazingly, and sometimes it's banging my head against a rock, despite being
That's
somebody who
next
coded in a
year.
previous life. Yep.
I think to speak to your point, like, yeah, the, the AI can generate images right now, and this might be, setting up Russ here for a T-ball home run. But just because it can make images doesn't mean that they're good, right? You still need designers who understand what good looks like. So Russ, how about you? What, in terms of what's valuable today, what's your take?
I'm gonna kind of take a different approach. I loved for many years. I don't have a lot of time to watch TV, like cooking shows. I'd watch all the Top Chef and Master Chef and all of these things. And I know, I mean, actually, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure if you put any one of us into one of those kitchens with the best ingredients, easily accessible, I could just have any device, any utility, anything ready to go, we would not be as good as the people on that show. And so there is taste, creativity, experience, and being able to use the tools that create a better output. And I think for me right now, what I'm focused on today is how do I improve my ability um to be creative, really. I mean, it's a very like obvious thing the creative CEO guy would say here, but I think the differentiator when everything is virtually free or accessible, which is where it's going to, all the playing fields have been leveled in terms of content creation, copy creation, image creation, app creation. What is going to be the differentiating factor with what's today and next year and beyond? It's our ability to creatively use these tools.
Mm,
And the copy we will read and what we will consume and what we will engage with and what will sell our products or services will be have to stand out as it has the last 20, 30 years of online marketing. So I'm challenging myself to continue to grow as a strategic thinker and as a creative thinker so that when the proliferation of a million people creating AI blogs and podcasts and all this stuff comes, what I'm doing is at a higher quality and value level. And I don't quite know that path yet. Like I'm actively asking myself, not just how do I use these tools, because I think that'll be easier and easier and easier, but how do I use them in a way that's unique to my challenges and unique to me? And not like we see it on LinkedIn and Twitter, like we know now, like who's the AI person writing all the stuff. And then every now and again, something
Yeah.
comes out and you're like, wow, this is incredible. I want to subscribe to this. I want to read this. And it's really about that idea that started and how they created it. Who cares? They landed something that's very valuable, which is, I mean, guys, it's marketing 101 through the decades. And I don't think that changes.
I know we're short on time, Doyle, so Russ, I'll build on what you said briefly. I could not agree more. As I was thinking, like in a world where Gen AI is steady state, when it costs, I don't know, a country's GDP to retrain a model, and so things are not evolving as quickly as they are now. What
Yeah.
matters? I agree with you, and I would say that creativity leads to emotion, that emotional connection, the
Mm.
emotional storytelling will matter. I think showing the right thing to the right person, which we've been trying to do in marketing forever, will matter because there's infinite set of things to show. I think distribution will matter for companies, and I think the customer intimacy will matter. I think focusing on those will be differentiated in a world where Gen AI is everywhere.
Hey, you know what? If someone could just fix attribution, I'll be super stoked. So like if
You'll
we
you'll
if
see.
someone
Look, on the 3 years from now, and with the heavy caveat of maybe is the point of perfect attribution.
20
I don't
years
think,
later, 10,
yeah,
15 years later, attribution is
we're
still not fixed.
never gonna get there. Never gonna get there. I do think that some of the things that are coming up next year that are exciting, the whole agentic, AI
Yeah.
can run multiple tasks for you. That's definitely gonna be real. I think that the AI SDR, AI content marketing, AI customer success, it's pretty cuspy. Right now, the AI SDRs are bad, but they'll get better and they'll have distinct use cases, mostly in like kind of high volume, low cost scenarios. One of the ones that I'm excited about is fixing CRM data. I think that'll be pretty big. And the concept of avatars. Um, I do not think that we will be at a stage where autonomous end-to-end marketing campaigns, perfect one-to-one, journey optimization is going to happen. We are running a little short on time, so I'm going to continue here. And we have about 3 4 minutes each to give quick intros to like what's happening at Webflow, what's happening at Design Pickle, and what's happening at Elvex. So without further ado, Guy, give us the quick take and let me know when to go to the next slide.
Will do, and we'll use this as a way to talk about applying AI rather than like Webflow itself. As context, again, Webflow is a platform that's designed for marketers, designers, developers to design, manage, and optimize sites that build your brand or enterprise grade and drive measurable business results. As context, like Sephora, Procter and Gamble, Jasper, New York Times, Duracell, BBDO, UFC use it. But our application of AI, it's not just spreading it around everywhere for the sake of spreading it around. Rather, it is to do those two jobs, build brand and drive revenue, which is why the website exists in the first place. And so the AI is in context, brand aware, and focused on the job to be done, the task at hand in the moment. So let's talk about half the different kinds of AI we use. If you can flip to the next slide, it's a 30-second video where we have, let's see if that is playing. Yep, great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tuned AI to help you create a custom website based on your brand, your visual identity, your brand voice, the site you're trying to build, not templates. It generates a series of approaches that you then tailor. You can then customize your layout, refine color palettes, fonts, and so on. And it's got some guardrails, right? Like if you did pure Gen AI, maybe it would do like a nav bar in the middle of the page. That's not useful. You know the nav bar belongs on top. And so there's a balance between those. It also, by the way, generates a style guide for your team to use as well. Next slide. Another version, you can extend that same AI to leverage your design system to create a whole new page, or different sections of a page to quickly iterate on your existing styles. And this is one of many examples where each time we build another AI in context to support things, we're like, oh, and it could help with that and that and that. And we are leaning into those, not because they're theoretically valuable, because they help achieve those two jobs, build a brand and drive demand. Next slide, we have a bunch of brand voice aware Gen AI to create content at a small scale, like you see here, a paragraph, large scale, a whole collection of pages in a CMS. And having that brand awareness saves all of us a ton of time. If you don't mind going to the next slide, I'll take half a step back and say, hey, look, we've all been using AI for years to personalize ads and email. I spent 15 years in the ad business before founding Intellimise. And just like this comic, most of us, I've certainly been guilty of this, forget about all that when our hard-earned traffic shows up at our website. So we use, if you go to the next slide, proprietary custom-built predictive AI to show the right content and experiences to each individual visitor in the moment. How? Next slide. One, you consider everything you know about a visitor. And so because us marketers have all this data, we make it easy to integrate them with no code. Salesforce, 6sense, Demandbase, HubSpot, Marketo, GA, Segment, Mixpanel, a bunch of others, so that you're optimizing for more segments than there are people on Earth, even with very little traffic. And then next slide, we take all the ideas that Gen AI has helped us generate that we've created and optimize across all possible combinations of them so that you have one landing page that effectively feels like hundreds or thousands of them. So that's predictive AI to show people the right thing. We use more typical Gen AI when you run an experiment to summarize the results of that experiment. And then on the next slide, we use language aware AI to translate your site right in context. So here's somebody going, I think it's French. And now they're saying, hey, translate this paragraph, translate an entire site. That's a helpful first start. That saves people time right in context where they're building. And on the final slide, as people are navigating this experience, we make it really easy for them right in context to say, hey, how do I change direction on this? How do I make a 3-column layout? And it'll then walk you through step by step how to do that right there. And importantly for Gen AI, we're not training it on any customer data. And it was said earlier, humans are reviewing the output every time before anything is published because we're not there yet. Maybe one day we will be. But these examples are intended to show the different ways you can train it, apply it right in context, ultimately to do the same jobs we were doing before, which in Webflow's case is build brand and drive demand. That's
There you
Webflow.
go. That's Webflow. Um, it's interesting. I like it. I want it. Yeah, I yeah, that would make my life easier because I run a lot of our website. So Russ, over to you. Talk to us a little bit about Design Pickle.
Yeah, yeah, not as cool as Webflow, but still valuable, I believe. So we started 10 years ago. We kind of refer to ourselves as the OG design subscription service. So 10 years ago, launched the whole industry of productized services. And this remains just like a huge value proposition today of what we do. Next slide. But it's grown so much since then. And one thing that, as I'm listening to Guy present, he's actually kind of teeing me up for, the way we view our value today is you have how many was in the Marcom tool directory? Like 14 million,
14,000.
14,000. Yeah, all of those need content. And sadly, all of those are not playing well together. You can't just publish something to Webflow and then all of a sudden it's updating your sales collateral and then magically your print trade show materials got it. It's work. And this is something that is really the durable business model of what we do is we're the people that make sure your content is always ready, up to speed when you need it, and providing a system that does that across the whole organization. And so from 10 years ago, where we're just like, hey, work with a designer and pay a flat rate, we still have that, but now we have an entire creative operations hub that sits at the middle of your creative and design processes. So as a creative team, you can go in, make requests, work with our designers. You can onboard your, I'd say, constituents. So they could be coworkers, they could be clients, whoever needs content and creativity. They could use our platform to make those requests so that they're seeing what you see, and you have a whole visibility of everything that's going on inside of your organization. Recently, and as the last year, we made some huge updates to our API native integration. So now what we're allowing is, let's say you have your own tools that you're using in part of your creative process. Fantastic. We're going to work well with those. So the idea for Design Pickle for the next 10 years to really be the de facto tool that sits inside of a creative process. And you can use as much or as little of what we do. Still, the main core thing is, hey, I need design help. Fantastic. Come aboard, use that. But as we're rolling new features out, we're enabling feedback, approval processes, all of these steps that have always existed outside of the other tools or separate tools or in email or in Slack, we're bringing it into one space. Next slide. So what does this mean for you? And what we're really looking at in terms of the value is you're really just to be able to create as the real needs of the creative ecosystem unfold. So creativity is never ending, but there are ebbs and flows. So you can add more output, you can take away more output. We actually have a private vetted global workforce, meaning there's design being done 24/5, not 24/7. They do have weekends off, and you can design this experience as you need. So you could be working real time with your designer in Slack or chat tool of your choice. You could be working with them in project management tools that you use. And we really just become this always on extension of your team for whatever you need. Next slide. I've gone through a couple of these already, but the really value propositions that we love to just talk about really is this designated design team concept in the middle. You're not having to solicit and find new creatives every single time, onboard them to your brand, tell them what you like, tell them what you don't like. We work with you to have a team. We say team because there's always going to be different designers for different specifics. If you're using Canva or you're using AI or you're using Figma, there's creatives that are going to be the best, and we make sure that those team members that are the best for your needs are the ones that you work with on the regular. Like I mentioned, APIs and extensibility, so you can put our workflow, our creative services into your tools. And then the white label experience is something we launched late last year, meaning what we do is all under your brand and domain. So we see a ton of our marketing partners and our agency partners using this because they want to have just, I think, more control of what this experience is. And always a little bit of ego too with marketers. They like to see their logo instead of ours.
Yep.
For those of you who sell white label in your software, that there's people pay for it. We've learned that as well. And just durability and reliability. We've been around 10 years. There's been dozens of knockoffs. We've been here. We'll be here. The consistency to get what you need when you need is just untouched. So yeah, and more to come. I mean, I think as we're looking at AI, the biggest thing that we're doing right now is ensuring our creatives are fully equipped with it. So we have commercial licenses for Adobe Firefly. I love how Guy, you're corporate guy now, and you're talking all about compliance and legalities and everything. But it's actually a really big deal, and with so many unknowns with lawsuits and what's going on, it's like the stock photography back in the day. People eventually were getting sued and letters and this and that. Same is going to happen here. So our creatives are licensed, commercial grade, IP ready tools that they're using so that you can confidently be using AI and not be concerned about what's to come as a lot of these larger models unravel their liabilities for the training data and the things that they've used. And so that's where we're starting. We have some lightweight tools that you can use, but at the end of the day, as things are changing so fast, we're still early on and narrowing what's going to be in platform, what's not. Unlike many companies, we weren't the company that just said, powered by AI magically, ha ha ha, and pipe in ChatGPT somewhere. So we're a little more mature and just taking it And but there are some really exciting things to come as we look at the agents and having more of an experience that we can provide on what to create and how to create. So recommend clients getting in and helping out, and we love to support as creativity continues to grow. You don't want to be the expert, let us be the expert and work together inside of that.
I love all of that. I certainly have design needs myself. And yeah, I do all of my design in Google Slides and it's pretty bad. So
We support Google Slides too. We'll
yeah.
usually import the images into it, but we'll output the slide deck for you.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
can
like,
make a slide deck.
it's like the same. I mean, look, here's the deal is like we could all be a designer today. Do I want to spend 5, 6 hours a day doing it? Even with AI, it's taking time. I got to revise.
Yeah.
I got to send it. I got to approve it. I got to do all that. So offload that. We could take it on and we can all do stuff like this, which is probably more valuable than chat prompting multiple revisions of your dog.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. So I'm going to quickly kind of talk through LVEX. LVEX is like the secure platform for you to access AI models, connect your business data, collaborate with your team. So instead of saying, hey, my whole business is going to use ChatGPT Enterprise, or I'm going to make a big bet on Google, kind of the same sort of chat experience and doing stuff, you can do it with all the models in one consistent user-friendly interface. And the main point about all of that is that your whole team can start using it today. You have flexibility tomorrow. You can switch to any of the new, models as they come out. And you also have the centralized control and compliance. And I'm going to see if I can show you a little quick something. This is a beta feature that came out yesterday, so it probably will break. But I used an earlier version of it to kind of generate the marketing campaign behind this webinar. And you can see that this is basically it's beginning of agentic sort of things. I have asked, the first step is defining a campaign brief, figure out who the audience is, what their problem is, what your desired action, get them to, attend a webinar and what kind of message you're going to send them. And then, search the internet to find out, what's the latest conversation on this kind of idea. And then create kind of like a messaging framework that, takes into for us, this is our messaging framework here. You create a messaging framework for this campaign that kind of takes this into consideration. And then referencing that messaging framework and this campaign brief, create, 3 emails, create a webinar abstract, create LinkedIn posts. And kind of the power here is that each step of the process, you get to input your own stuff and customize it and like be in complete control of the inputs and outputs. And then it's repeatable. So let's see, this is kind of example of some of the outputs. Marketers are doing this. What are we going to talk about? Live workflows, actionable strategies, collaborative, experience, etc. And then it, generated, this is the email. So it generated some emails for me. It generated some social media. I think, yeah, this is the social media here. And then it generated a webinar abstract that I can put online. And the point there is like, way easier to react to something and edit something. And I would never actually publish everything that it generated right then. But in about 10 minutes, I had the idea for a campaign with recent context in my brand style in terms of messaging points that we don't want to talk about, all made for me. And then I can quickly edit it and get started. So that's the fun new feature, but some more stuff that I'm going to be sending all of you. We have a guide. It's a big old PDF. It's generative AI use cases and templates for marketing. So expect that and the webinar recording in your inbox later this week. And then if you are an agency and you are selling AI stuff, we know there's a lot of you out there. You should come become a partner. Go to this webpage or send us an email. And there's all sorts of fun things that we can do together. Lastly, some good communities. The Marketing AI Institute has a lot of great stuff. Their podcast is really good. The Slack group is also good. The Alliance has a number of communities underneath it. I started in the Product Marketing Alliance maybe like 7 years ago, and it's now, oh my God, like 60,000 people in that Slack. But the AI and PMM channel has a lot of great AI stuff. And then obviously they have the CMO Alliance and the AI Accelerator Institute, which are also very AI centric. On YouTube, if you want to get real technical and nerdy, there's a channel called Three Blue, One Brown. And then there's a kind of prompt inventory called Tiny Tech Guides, which is great. Guy, Russ, I don't know if there's other communities that you have front of mind that you might want to plug as far as good places to learn.
I'm actually learning right now about all of these, so this is fantastic. I'm in our own bubble so much, just trying to do the work that we're doing here. So I appreciate these shares.
I like these
Yeah,
a bunch. I
absolutely.
added a couple to this list when we were prepping, and this is the universe I'm operating in. If folks have others they find particularly useful, please share them in the chat.
Yeah, throw them out there. And now, if you have any questions, now's the time to ask them. We are a little bit over the allotted time, but I don't have something for the next 15 minutes, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. So T minus 20 seconds to put in the question. Let's see here. It looks like you were answering. Oh, Guy, I think your answer to that question went just to the host and the panelists. So maybe if you want to answer it out loud.
Oh, sorry. Thanks, Eric. Let me answer to everyone. Oh, interesting. I don't have an everyone anymore.
No, it's gone. Well,
It's gone.
maybe you can talk it.
Yeah, sure, Eric. Uh, my 2 cents. How will SEO evolve with LLMs? I think ranking in an LLM will be an evolution of SEO rather than some like completely different thing. Authority still matters, original content still matters. Upgraded in importance relative to SEO is repetition in text on other sites, more than just the links. It's like think about when you're trying to memorize something. Every time you run it through your brain, it sticks better and better. LLMs are trained the same way. Same principles about being relevant. I've seen one or two folks tell me, "Oh, I created a zillion pages using Gen AI." I think that arbitrage won't last for long, but ultimately, no one knows, right? It's still being determined. And again, take it with a grain of salt. That's one humble guy's opinion.
Yeah. I have a million page website that, is AI spam. I don't think there's no way that they let that continue to be valuable. Um, we don't have any other questions. So, unless you speak up now, have a good rest of your Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Guy, Russ, really appreciate both of you.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Thank
thanks for
you.
doing this.
That was a lot of
All
fun.
right.
Thanks.
See you, everyone. Thank you.